Wouldn't you like being able to create unlimited social media images for your Instagram page by using AI to create the captions and generate the images for you? Well, in this video, I'm going to break this down step by step so you can know exactly how to do just that. And by the end, you'll be able to sell this thing to businesses for $500 a month, $750 a month, because you will be saving them at least 2 to 3 hours per day. If you're excited, let's dive straight in. So before we dive into the actual build itself, I just want to talk you through exactly what you're going to get from this framework. And I'm going to talk about how much you could actually sell this thing for. If you were to reach out to a business and say, hey, we're going to save you 2 to 3 hours every single day, you're looking at between like $500 and $750 per month. What we're going to do is we're going to set up an Instagram scraper that's going to go to a profile or number of profiles of your choice, and it's going to grab all of the posts, all of the images, all of the carousels, all of the captions, descriptions, hashtags, everything you would absolutely need to create and repurpose content. It's going to take that content and put it into a Google Sheet so you can then analyze it with AI and use AI to generate new images for you, and it will generate new captions. So you're saving yourself hours and hours and hours of time every single day. Now, this is what the workflow looks like. It looks complicated, but I'm going to break this down step by step so you can see how everything works. And by the end of the video, I promise you'll be able to sell this to somebody for a minimum $500 per month. I'm going to stop waffling. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so we have a fresh instance of N8N. And the first thing we're going to do is set up a trigger. Now, the trigger can be anything. It can be Slack, Discord, Telegram, WhatsApp, whatever your heart desires. But I'm just going to do a trigger manually. So I want to make sure that this only happens when I click go. The next thing we're going to do is connect to a platform called Appify. Now, if you've never heard of Appify, don't worry, not many people have. But what Appify is, and I'll show you very quickly. Appify is like a sweet shop for people that want to be able to scrape things off the internet but do not have the time or energy to go and build their own scrapers. So thankfully, there are people out there much smarter than me who have developed scrapers that we can just tap into for very cheap. So for example, we've got like an Instagram scraper. We can scrape Google Maps. We can scrape websites, Twitter, TikTok. It really is a buffet for people that want to make money with AI. What we're going to be using today is the Instagram scraper. So there is going to be some terminology on the Appify website that might be a little bit confusing. They refer to it as actors. Not sure why. Maybe it's because they're pretending to be human when it's actually a robot. Maybe that's why. And what an actor is basically a server where you can tap into and it will perform whatever the task is you're looking to do. So when you click into the scraper itself, you've got a whole bunch of options, and I'm going to show you exactly what these options do and what you need to fill in to make sure you're getting the absolute most out of the scrapers. So the first thing you want to set up is the URL you want to scrape. So this is just your Instagram profile that you're collecting it from. For me, I've gone after Interior Design Mag. I want to be able to recreate some really cool architecture, interior design style images that I can repurpose and send out for the next 30, 60, 100,000 days. Now, you can do this with just a single URL, or if you really want to get crazy with it, you can make as many URLs as you want, 5, 10, 20, 30. What I will call out is the bigger the scale, the more likelihood that something's going to fall over or break, and it's going to be really hard for you to then figure out what it is that's broken. One should be enough. You should get at least a month's worth of content from one URL. So I've added that in. And then the next option I want to click is this scrape posts. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to grab everything. It's going to grab the captions, descriptions, hashtags, the images themselves, the comments, etc. You do have the option, if you want to choose specifically what you're going to grab. So you can just grab the mentions, you can just grab reels, but I want everything. I need the entire snack. I don't want just a part of the meal. I need the entire thing. And for the purpose of this video, I'm going to scrape 10 results only. I want to make sure also that I'm scraping fresh new content, because if we're going to be repurposing content, it needs to be on trend. It needs to be relevant to our audience as of today. So I've gone to the absolute button and I've selected from January 1st, 2025. And there's also the option that you can scrape the explore feed on Instagram for search queries. So if you wanted to type in here like interior design or weddings or football, you could do that. The only thing is that this doesn't operate in the exact same way. So when you put in an Instagram URL, you're getting that person's content and you know it's relevant, you know it's good. With the explore feed, you run the risk of pulling back, pretty bad content. And we don't want to scrape pretty bad content. We want good content. So you can do that. So if you want to experiment and see the results you get, absolutely use that. But I'm just going to use the current URL that I've added because it's easy, it's safe, and I know it's relevant. So that's everything that you need to do to set up the Instagram scraper. We've got our URLs, we've got the thing we want to scrape, which is the post, and we've got the number of posts and also the date. So we've only had to set up 4 things. The next thing we're going to want to do is test before we move this into N8N. So what we're looking at here is the actor runs. Now remember, actor just means server, and the option you want to choose is run actor synchronously with input and get dataset items. Now that is just a very technical, complicated way of saying you're going to put things out and you're also going to get things back, because there are API points where you just make a request and it doesn't actually give you anything back, which is pretty useless if you ask me. Anyway, so in here, we're just going to set up a test API call, because in N8N, we're going to use a HTTP request node which runs off of API calls. Now that might sound complicated, but hang with me, I promise you, it's incredibly simple. So what we're looking at on the right-hand side is the request. So this is the request we're going to make to the Instagram scraper, and it's going to pass through all of the information we need to start scraping. It's already filled in the authentication. It's already filled in the security scheme for us. All we need to do is add our token, the actor ID, and the body for the scrape. So to grab your bearer token, which is just your API key. So again, it's just, apples and apples, pears and pears. We're going to go to your profile, settings, and then you should at the top here see your API and integrations tab. Now you're just going to copy that default API, and Appify give you one as soon as you sign up, which is really, really helpful. Go back to this little test playground here and you paste in the key. Then we're going to grab the Instagram scraper actor ID, and you would think that the actor ID is this tab at the top, and I thought the same thing. That is not the case, and it's the ID in the URL. I'm going to copy that, go back to our playground and paste it into my actor ID. Final thing is I want to grab all of the information that I want to paste over, and I can see here that this is in JSON format, which is typical for most API requests. And if I remember right, on the Instagram scraper here, we have this little JSON tab. So I'm just going to click that, and here is all of the data. And if you look closely at it, you can see I want to grab 10 results. I want to grab it from this date, and I want to grab it from this URL. That is the only thing we're going to grab. So I'm just going to copy all of this, go back into my playground and hit send API request. Now what should happen when I press this button is the actor should start running. So I'm just going to hit this button, go back to my scraper, hit runs, and you can see something's working. So I'm just going to refresh the page. So that means the API request is now successful, which is exactly what we wanted. I'm just going to hit, I'm going to let that run so you can see what it grabs out. And while it's running, I just want to highlight this. So it's $2.30 for 1,000 results. And Appify give you $5 as free credit every single month, so you can absolutely build these automations and these scrapers for basically free and then sell them to clients. And only when you sell them to clients do you upgrade your package. You sell it before you build it. That is the right way to do things. Okay, so now the actor has run. So that just means the scrape has been completed, and you can see it's grabbed all of the information that we needed from the Instagram page. So we are looking good, people. So now we're going to jump back into N8N, and we're just going to copy over from this little playground. It's basically done all of the hard work for us. So I'm just going to copy this curl information, go back into here. I'm going to add my HTTP request node, and I'm going to put import curl. So paste, and there we go. Everything has been pre-filled for us. We do not need to mess around changing the settings. The only thing we need to do is add the API token within N8N. So if I go back to my account, copy, and then I'm just going to paste this right here. Now we're going to run a test step, and I'd always recommend you test your nodes because you don't want to get to the end of the workflow and something is broken at the start. Now if we test this and go back into Appify, we can see that the API call was successful because the actor has started running. What's going to happen is this information is now going to get pulled into N8N, and we're going to drag this into a database, aka a Google Sheet, and that just allows us the ability to manipulate the data as we see fit. Hurry up. Why does it take us so long? Probably because I'm being banned. Okay, so now everything is in N8N. So just to go back to this as well, because I want to highlight this in case you encounter this issue. Sometimes the free servers are slow. So if I go back to the Instagram actor, you can see that it took like 2 minutes, 28 seconds versus 55 seconds. So depending on the server overload of the day, how many people are using it, it might take you 3 minutes, it might take you 30 seconds. So don't be discouraged if something isn't working as quick as you would expect. Everything is now in N8N. So if I just quickly show you this here in a table, because it's a little bit nicer to see, I've got my input URL, which is the URL I'm scraping. I've got the captions, I've got the actual URL of the post. So now we're going to take this data and put it into a spreadsheet. Now I had one prepared earlier just to give you an example of what this looks like. A couple of things to call out. So at the bottom of the sheet, I have 2 tabs. One is the database, which is where we're going to put all of the scraped information. And then the other tab is new images. And what that is where we're going to capture all of the information out of the back of this repurposing machine so that we can post it to Instagram. We can do whatever we want with it. So it's always important to set these things up first, so you're not having to go back at the end of the workflow and add them in. The headers that we decided to use here are just the information that I wanted to grab from Instagram itself. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So we're in N8N. If I click this node again and I hit schema, I've got my IDs, I've got my input URLs, I've got hashtags, I've got mentions, and these are going to be the things we use as our header rows. So I'm just going to show you the sheet again. So I've got my ID, I've got my captions, hashtags, URLs. Obviously you can just copy this like for like, but if there is additional things that you would like to add, the easiest way to do it is click your HTTP node, go into schema, and you'll have all of your things there ready to go. Now, what I'm also going to do, and something that I recommend you guys do as well, is I'm going to pin this data. So that means I don't have to keep recalling the API every time I want to test my workflow. So now we're going to connect to the Google Sheet. So we're going to go to Google Sheets and we're going to hit append row in sheet. Now you're going to have to connect your Google account into N8N, but once you've done that, I'm going to hit append row from list. Now my list is called Instagram, you can see. So Instagram, there we go. From list, I've only got one sheet that I really want to use for this because it's just my database. So I'm just going to hit database. Oops, I've opened it up. And you can do this manually, which is the right way to do it. Or if you want to grab everything, you can hit map automatically. I don't recommend that because you're likely not going to need all of the information. So I'm just going to hit map manually. That's weird. And I'm just going to grab things over from my HTTP request node. So I've got my ID, I've got my caption, hashtags, URL of the post, the number of comments, only 3 comments. Wow, must have not been that impressive. Then I've got my images here. Grab that across, and then I'm going to grab the like. So these guys, you can see this is 16 images. Timestamp, which is up here. So they're just going to see when it's posted, and that's all we need to do. Now we're going to test this step, and what this should do is pass all of this information directly into my Google Sheets. I'm just going to test step. This one should be quick, by the way. It's not going to be as slow as the API call, but we will see. There we go. So this has now successfully passed everything into my Instagram sheet as quickly as that. We've got everything that we need now to train the AI agent on the images that we're going to repurpose. But first, before we get that, you can see here that the images are basically smushed into one cell, which is not useful for an AI agent. What we need is a 1-by-1, kind of like a conveyor belt, passing URLs into the AI model. So to be able to do that, we're going to use a split node. That means we're going to split all of the image URLs into individual lines. So plus split out, and we don't need to drag anything over. It's as simple as saying images, and then we test the step. Now 67 items. So that means out of all of the data that we've collected, there are 67 images for us to repurpose and use, which is awesome. That is a ton of repurposing content. Not sure if that's a word, but I'm going to leave that in because that was interesting. So now we're at the stage where we can pass this over to the AI agent, which is going to create our sexy Instagram images. So as I just said, we need a loop because we don't want to do this 67 items in a batch. We want to do it 1-by-1. So we're just going to add a loop node. And I'm only going to do this 1-by-1. So you can leave it as the original setting. I'm going to leave that. I don't need to test that step. And what we're going to replace this node with is the OpenAI model that analyzes images. Now, everything should be set exactly as you need it. The model I'm going to use is ChatGPT 4.0, the latest version. And the text input I'm going to leave as is. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask AI to describe the image, and the description is going to be used as the prompt to tell the next AI agent what image to create. So I'm just going to go back here so I can make sure I can test the previous node, hit go. and the loop item passed through one thing, one image. So now if I go to my AI button node thing, it's now got all of the information I need on the left-hand side, and all I need to grab is this image URL and put it right here. So now this is going to pass through the image to our AI model. So let's just test this step. Let's see what should happen right now is the AI model should describe the image it's seeing. So we're going to hit that button. You still with me? Great. Okay, perfect. It's now described it. So it's saying the image features a visually striking composition with a mix of colorful elements in the foreground. There's a yellow brick. Yeah, cool. That sounds cool to me. So what we want to do is now use that as our prompt. So you can see how strong this system is. You don't have to create your own prompts. AI is doing it for you because it's incredibly good at analyzing images. So we're going to add another OpenAI node, and we're going to do generate an image. We're going to use the content from the previous node, which is basically the description of the original image, as our prompt. So you want to make sure that you can just drag and drop that over. Everything should work immediately. If anything goes red, you've broken something, go back a step and debug it. So add options, you can change the quality, the resolution, the style, etc. So if I want to do quality, you've got standard or HD. I'm just going to leave it as standard for now. Resolution, I'm going to leave it as this because this is perfect for Instagram feeds, and I'm going to hit test step. What we now should get is an image that we've generated through AI from the original profile that we scraped. So let's hit go. Who can take the sunshine? Okay, so we are now good. The image has been created. Let's have a quick little peek at this, shall we? So this is interesting, and it will be interesting to see what the image was based on. So if I grab this right now and have a quick look, I mean, that is really crazy good. It's understood the colors. It's understood that it's a bit abstract. This is perfect. This is exactly what we wanted it to do. So we're now good. The model is generated images as we would expect. And now we want to take those images and put them into a G drive so we can start storing all of the images that we're going to use to post to Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want. So we're going to add a Google Drive node, if I can spell Google, there we go. And we want to upload a file, there it is. Now again, your Google Drive needs to be added into N8N. It shouldn't take you too long to do, but you can see the thing that we're uploading here is the file that we just created. So I'm going to upload it, and I want to change the file name to Instagram picture. Not sure why. Do what it says on the tin. Now I'm going to grab my Instagram folder, which I've already created, and there it is. Oh, for God's sake, I keep doing that. There we go. So now all this is going to do, and we'll test it now, is it's going to upload that image directly into my Google Drive. So let's just hit test step. This is always the fun bit, just waiting for nodes to execute. Okay, we're now good. We now have an image in Google Drive. Shall we check it? Fingers crossed. And there we go. We've got an image in our Google Drive folder based on a piece of content that we took from a URL on Instagram without us having to do a single thing. No research was needed, just one URL. This is the beauty of AI. This is the amazing part of what we're able to do with this technology. And if you're learning this now, you are ahead of 99% of people. Trust me when I say I've been doing this for a long time. Most people do not know what this technology can do, and most people are going to be left behind. People like you watching this video, I promise you from the bottom of my heart, you are so far ahead. Enough of the motivational speak. Let's get straight back into the workflow. Okay, so now we know everything is producing everything that we need it to do. What we now want to add in is an additional step to create captions, right? So it's all good having the image, but if you want to generate captions for that image, you don't want to have to do that manually. And that's good, because I want to show you how to do it not manually, aka automatically. So what we need to do now to generate the caption is I'm going to add another OpenAI model. And all we need to do is just message the model. That's literally it. We've got the OpenAI account connected. We want to message the model, and I'm going to talk to, who do I want to talk to? Let's try GPT-4 Mini. The reason why I'm doing that is because it's cheap, and we don't want to burn through tokens just for the sake of burning through them. If it's like a simple back and forth message, you don't need one of the most powerful AI models. You just need something simple. So the prompt we're going to use is super simple and straightforward. We're going to hit expression, and I'm going to copy and paste it over. So write me an Instagram caption using the description of the image. Here is the image description. So I'm just going to get rid of this and show you how I got it. So on the left-hand side, we've got Google Drive, which we don't need for this. But what we do have a little further down, actually, I'm just going to get rid of that because that's annoying me, is we have the 2 nodes back. We have the content description. So we're going to grab this, and drag that in here now. So what this allows us to do is dynamically create captions based on AI's description of the image, so we know that it's relevant. So I'm just going to do maybe not 150 characters. Let's do a little bit longer because 150 is quite small. And we want to make sure the content is output as JSON because it's easier for us to grab that data and put it into a spreadsheet. So I'm just going to put that as there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to run this and it's going to then give us our caption. So let's hit go. Okay, everything is now done. We now have our caption. It was 292 characters. We asked for 300, so that's fine with me. If I just show this over a little bit better so you can see the whole thing. Let's have a look. And there you go. So we can see embracing the retro vibes with this color what can I even read? We've got some hashtags in here. We know they're relevant because we've seen the image. So I'm happy with that. So the final step of this entire workflow is we want to make sure that this can get added into a database so we can just continue to run this on a loop. So we're going to add a Google Sheet and we're going to append row because we're now just going to add links and we're going to add captions. I'm just going to move this back over here and move this back over here like so. From list, we're going to use the original Instagram sheet. And then we're going to grab the new image tab. Remember at the start of the video, if you can remember that far back, we set up a new image tab because this is where all of our new stuff is going to go. What we need to do is map this manually. So the new image, let's do the caption first. Let's do the caption in here. And the new image is the web view link from Google Drive. And then we're going to hit test step. And what this should now do is send everything into a Google Sheet so we can have the caption and the image side by side. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Here we are. We made it. Let's go to the sheet. I'm going to hit new images. We have the image right here. And we've got the caption right here. This is incredibly strong. Do you realize how powerful this is? Because now if I was to go back into my workflow and I hit test workflow, this is going to run 67 times. So I'm going to generate at least 67 images and it takes probably 10 minutes to do. This is a lot of fun. I think you can have so much fun with this. And like I said, you could save 2 to 3 hours per day easily just by being able to research and generate images and captions. And you could make faceless Instagram accounts with this. You could make you can make faceless TikToks with it. You can do whatever you want. The beauty of this, again, is that you can upgrade the model. So you could use Flux, which is the realistic models to create people. You can do anything you want. Or like I would do is I would go and sell this to a business for at least $500 a month. You could have them you could say every single week, you'll give them 100 images guaranteed in their niche. Good luck, have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.